Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time. Victor Allen's New Sports. Written, directed, produced by Victor Allen. His unique neo-urban look at sports. Now, ladies and gentlemen, man that the ladies have nicknamed Sexual Chocolate. Here he is, bald-headed black man. Here's Victor Allen. Yeah.
Not bad, man. Not bad. That was a little bit better. That was a little bit better. Oh. Okay, I'm not going to follow what Mario just said about the B word. And if you don't know what that is, you'll have to go look at his ending, good news, bad news, and morning coffee monologue. But I'm going to stay away from the B word. You know what?
Brooklyn.
This is terrible because I know I'm supposed to put a good light on sports, and I'm a fan reporter. As a fan reporter, you always see things in a different way. And all I know is this: I pay for my cable subscription. Mark, you pay for your cable subscription. Everybody who
I steal cable.
Right.
Yeah, I think everybody should steal cable.
Right. You pay for it.
Yeah, digital TV.
And you want the best performances you can get, right?
I do.
All right. So when you're watching sports, you don't want to see one-sided blowouts. You don't want to see no scoring.
I wasn't sure what that was for a minute, but have to think about it. Yeah, no, I don't want to see that.
You don't want to see no blowouts.
I almost started. I thought it was something else. One-sided is the best kind of.
That's
anyway.
Well, yeah, let me keep going. Okay, so let me just say this. I know this is just me, my perspective. I'm looking for competition. We know that in the NBA, in the Eastern Conference, you got Miami, and Miami is going to go. Look, we're going for that trifecta. Don't you want to see some competition step up? Yes, you want to see the teams that you believe are going to, come in and be competitive. So we already know that Derrick Rose is lost for the season. Sadly, just the way it goes, it's just one of those things. Now, let's just say he's not lost for the season. Even if he's able to come back, it's just going to be difficult. Chicago's not going to be the same team. It takes time. When you talk about Eastern Conference, and you have all those teams over there, when you know that the third place team in total wins is the Washington Wizards at playing 500 ball. That means you only have two teams. Two teams. You only have two teams that are playing above 500. So if I'm looking like this photo, what has been seen cannot be unseen. I agree, because I've seen some terrible play.
It's almost like you guys really react to having different people in new positions. So that's really a lot of it. Why can't it just be just new people in the new positions and not? So celebrate the Washington Wizards now. Wait. Celebrate the Washington Wizards.
Look at wait a minute.
You can't do it, can you?
No, I can celebrate.
Can't do it. Can't celebrate the Washington Wizards.
No. What I'm saying.
Can't celebrate Philadelphia.
No, I am not going to celebrate Philadelphia, and I know Philly fans are really going to be hard. They're not going to be easy like you're being easy. They're going to sit there and go like, "What are you talking about?"
But that's Philadelphia.
Isn't that your people who stay in Philadelphia? So your people stay in Philadelphia.
They are like that too.
That's what I'm saying.
Probably rabid
fans,
Eagles fans,
right? So let me just say this: everybody already knows that the two teams they're probably going to be vying for the finals in the Eastern Conference. It's going to be tossed up between Indiana, of course, Miami. Now, it's no problem. But you do want to see some teams that go like, okay, so you're not going to watch the first round. You're not going to watch the second round. Now, it's still early, you guys. We're not even near getting to the All-Star break, so things could change. But you want to know how bad it is? It's bad. When I say it's bad, you're talking about the teams that typically will be competing in the playoffs. Chicago is at 7-9. Boston is at 7-12. Philadelphia is at 6-12. Brooklyn, the Brooklyn that everybody thought, is at 5-12. And the one that got everybody just blown out of the water is the New York Knicks. They're at 3-13 and lost 9 straight games. Now, you sit there and say, well, how many of these teams do have new players? No, they may suffer maybe an injury. But to lose 9 straight, New York Knicks, I'm sorry, man. There's something going on in the Eastern Conference. It's pitiful because what we're saying is no other players can step up and do role playing. They have what? How many players on the bench? They can't step. Let's just say Tyson Chandler is their defensive stopper at New York. So he goes down with an injury. Nobody else can step up and play defense, right?
That's why I had to. I'm still searching for an appropriate sound effect. No, because see. First of all, you started off. See, the only thing I say is, you guys. Why is it bad? Because at the same time that these people are doing this, there are other people who are now in the lead, like you said.
I'm about to get to them.
Wonderful Washington Wizards.
I'm going to get to them. I'm going to get. See,
you have to buy new jerseys.
No. I'm just saying. You go look at the teams, and I'm going. If you're like, there's 18 games and you won 6.
You got to get like behind Milwaukee. I think people in Milwaukee.
I'm trying to be really.
See, people in Milwaukee might be pissed off. I'm just saying, you guys.
Oh, wait a minute.
I haven't really even thought about Milwaukee since Jabbar was there. Okay.
Okay. Who?
See what I'm saying?
See,
so
I'm just saying.
No one thinks of Milwaukee. I'm sorry.
You know what? First of all, celebration, because even with the Washington Wizards, they said, prior to the beginning of the season, that they were going to be better and competitive. We knew that. I'm not talking about them. That's a different story in itself. What we're looking at is the underperforming teams who actually are going, is there a reason why they're so bad? Remember the story, which we'll get to in a moment, was about the Western Conference as it relates to the Lakers. How bad would they be? They were talking about how bad they may be in performing against other teams that are looking forward to producing even better than they did the previous season. So you're only as good as the competition in your arena. Well, the competition in the Eastern Conference is the part that everybody's talking about. He said, wow, we already know the Western Conference is loaded. I think
this is a sign of the competition being very good. That means it's what they call parity.
Okay.
It's a sign of parity.
Wait a minute.
And when you have these kind of shows, that everybody's got to work hard for their wins, and what a wonderful day in the neighborhood.
Okay. Since he's on a different page with this, all I'm saying is that obviously I don't like the idea that the Eastern Conference teams are in this hard times. I'm looking for them to rebound. Maybe it's the holiday season. I do want to see a competitive New York Knicks. I especially want to see the Brooklyn Nets step up big time. I mean, please do something. Philadelphia, I didn't expect that much from, but if they get there, that's fine. New York Knicks, no excuse. There's just no excuse.
What are your plans for Milwaukee?
You know what? So that's the same question I would ask you about how you feel about people in Boston.
I mean, so you're trying to say you don't have any plans for Milwaukee?
I think Milwaukee is who Milwaukee is.
What is your impression? Now,
what is my impression of Milwaukee?
And how about the Pelicans?
Oh, they're doing good.
But I'm about to get them.
I'm only covering the Eastern Conference. I'm about to get to the Western. See, I'm starting off with the Eastern side.
I don't think you have a bias.
No, I don't have a bias.
You have a bias. You guys get upset whenever Chicago,
I'm not upset.
Boston,
I'm disappointed.
Philadelphia. Why do all the biggies have to be in the win?
Who said they were biggies?
I can't wait for Milwaukee.
Wait a minute. Is Brooklyn a biggie?
I can't wait for Portland.
Wait a minute. We're talking Eastern Conference. We're not talking about Western right now.
All right, name the ones in the East that still fit this bill. You know.
Okay, I just gave you the names. I went down and said New York, who never has been able to be considered a biggie because they just haven't been there since the 90s. And you got Brooklyn, who's basically been the New Jersey Nets until they became Brooklyn. They're underperforming. You also have Philadelphia, who they expected.
That's the whole East Coast.
Yeah.
Serves y'all right. As a West Coast person, nah.
Okay, now wait a minute. Now wait a minute. Chicago, think about their people. They feel for Derrick Rose. We all do. We all feel for Derrick Rose.
That's my man.
It's sad to see what's going through.
Totally. That's my man.
Now they do contribute some of the woes to injuries, but every team has injuries.
No one's wishing injury.
This is Mario. This is unheard. You got teams.
It's good.
It's not good.
It's good. It's a purge of the East Coast Devils. The East Coast Devils.
Okay, let me go. Let's by comparison.
The Devils of the East Coast.
See, notice that
those
Mario.
Other people.
So, are you defending Boston too?
No, I'm saying they're part of the Devils. The East. All of them, they're doomed because of their evil.
Okay, so what you're saying?
Evil.
So on one hand, you actually are defending them, but calling them devils at the same time.
I'm not defending them at all. I'm saying they have to go down because that's the way. It's the evil purge. It's the evil purge of the evil area.
Let me just go into the Western Conference because you see he's off track. Okay, let's go to the Western Conference by comparison and give you what they call the lay of the land as it relates to how well the competition is. Very competitive. 12 teams are playing 500 and above, and there's only 2 teams way under
the
Utah.
Chosen teams.
The Utah Utah Jazz actually 3-13, I believe, and Sacramento, I believe, is 5 or 4-13. Memphis is 9-10, so it would actually be 13 teams. They are performing competitively, with Portland right now being the new monster that's producing. New Orleans, who you were just talking about, is playing 500 ball or better. So you have all these teams, including the Lakers, who are one game over 500. So you have this blossoming of teams producing at above.
Teams. The chosen.
They're not chosen.
The chosen.
They're not chosen.
Defend them against the evildoers.
So name a team.
The evil devils.
Okay, so wait a minute. Phoenix.
Of the East.
Phoenix is in the top, above 500.
They're in the buffer zone.
Okay. Dallas is above 500.
Yeah, two are in the buffer zone.
So you got Portland, you got Dallas, you got, of course, San Antonio.
That's what I'm saying.
You have, come on, not Lakers.
Just as long as you're not part of those evil East Coast devils. You see, like some people are doing pretty good. That was my point.
So let me ask you this then, since you have this already under control.
I do.
If you, what's the easiest conference to play in right now today?
The easiest? Well, I don't know if it's easy.
Eastern or Western?
I mean, I don't know if it's easy. Think about that bad weather. That was plane rides.
I'm about to go to the next.
I think it's the easiest. I don't think either one is easy.
You don't think really?
Either one is easy.
Really?
I think, and I think the variables that go into making it difficult are not necessarily. In other words, Vic, what I'm saying is there are some teams that you're going to win, but they beat you up so much you hate playing them.
True.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying stuff like that.
And what teams were you also
that where you beat them, but I'm just saying, but they wear your butt out.
Right, and what I'm saying is that they're not talking about these teams in the East that they just can't wait. They don't want to play them. They're the hardest team to play against. They're saying when they come to the West Coast, it's a different monster. These teams, you don't get a night off.
Hey, dude, you know what? I just think it's a quirk. Really, honestly, and
right.
I wouldn't bank too long on it. But while you're having it, throw it in their faces.
I am going to.
But it's really just a quirk. I think it's a quirk. Remember, there was a moment where it seemed like all the Eastern teams were the ones that was winning too.
It was a moment, but Western teams have always had the better records, with the exception of Miami. Miami always, because they've been winning championships lately, but the parity of a number of teams winning, performing at better win-loss percentage has always been in the West, but Miami has been the best across the board.
Well, that's what I said. And then even when you look at other sports too,
right,
you get these impressions where a region is doing it. Sometimes it's really just around one or two teams that were perennially good.
Right.
Then you start saying, "Oh, they're good," but it's really because for as long as Miami's been good, Orlando's been what?
Yeah, I know. Orlando has some.
Say it's Florida.
I know. I'm saying this. I always believe that the season goes in two quarters. I believe there's the first 25, the next 25, then there's that next 25. But then by the time you get into that last, everybody's already positioned themselves. When the All-Star, I guess, midway point comes, the teams I'm looking for in the East that I hope will rebound, between Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, New York, which teams do you think would probably stand a chance of being more competitive out of these teams? Because they're not all going to stay down here. Somebody's going to get a fire lit under them, and they're going to actually be better. So if I had to go Chicago, Boston, Philly, Brooklyn, and New York, I see Chicago as being competitive.
I think everybody does. They've done it before, and they have solid coaching, and they still have their solid core elements that they had before.
Right.
So now they were solid, they'll be solid.
Right. And so you're doing
Too bad they don't have Nate.
Right. That's true. They don't have Nate. And I'm also looking at coaching. When you look at I look at New York, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised, because when you're 10 games under, when you only won 3 games, already Carmelo's dealing with the free agent market that's next year. I don't know if something in the culture of that team has just totally collapsed, because that's Mike Woodson, the coach, who was being hailed for what he did as a great job last year. What happened?
He's done a good job before. I like him I think he's a solid coach.
Yeah, I do too.
No, it's not always the coach. Sometimes it's just a group of people at the time. Amari, you have a number of people injured at the wrong spot at the wrong time, and then with some other people maybe not the maturity to step up and take that role. And I think that's more it. I don't know, but but injury is part of it.
Yeah, I do.
And Stoudemire is just not.
They're stuck with him in his contract. They can't even unload. He's guaranteed to get his money. He knows, and he's admitted, he's not the same. So is he going to be your defensive stopper? Well, Stoudemire was never a defensive stopper. So
No.
Tyson is gone. Who steps up to be that?
Nobody.
Nobody. So the part I'm saying here is the part that they're probably already maxed on money, what they can go out and spend and get somebody to play that role. Did you think they would be 3-13? No way. I thought they would be at least 500.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
And New York, no offense, but thinking back to all those times at Howard University when the New Yorkers,
you're reminiscing.
They talked a lot of stuff.
You're
and the
reminiscing.
people from Philly.
You're reminiscing.
All I can say is, nah, 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 nah.
This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Well, let me go.
They're probably going to go Lakers, but the Lakers are still better than Brooklyn and New York Knicks put together.
Well, the whole point, and here's the thing. I give Brooklyn not this year because, Jason Kidd, this is your internship in being a new coach. You're about to deal with things you never had to deal with. And there's a different thing about being respected as a coach versus being respected as a player. I don't see that. Maybe right now I'm hoping Chicago and New York. I'm hoping New York turns it around because when their people get behind them, they get behind them.
Why are you hoping for New York? See, that's why I understand. Why aren't you hoping for Milwaukee?
No. You know why? Because Milwaukee's not trying. Milwaukee is really not trying to be what they would call in the market of competitive. They're not spending the money. When an owner doesn't want to spend the money, what do?
They don't have the money. This is like the same thing with
These are multimillionaires, possibly billionaires. They're not trying to.
Okay, I'm just saying, notice your bias. You going to feel bad if New York. I won't feel bad.
No, I don't feel bad. I'm disappointed that they're not playing at the level.
I'm not disappointed.
Yeah, of course.
I'm kind of reveling in it. Play subpar next year, too.
So no team of this group, of the 5 teams I mentioned, you said, I don't care if they just stink. Let them all sink. Chicago.
Oh, yeah. Chicago only I like.
Okay, that's good. See,
Boston, I actually don't have anything against Boston.
No, they do.
And I like Philly.
Well, and Boston
It's just the New Yorkers because you guys, if you ever been from the West Coast and go to school or anything on the East Coast.
Right.
The New Yorkers are the most arrogant group. It's just that they have little to cling to in recent years. They are. They're the most arrogant sports fans, but they have little or nothing.
Right.
I mean, they thought they were the best. They thought that being from New York, you just inherently were better at basketball.
Right.
Just being born there. That's the kind of shit they would believe. Just being from Brooklyn.
Right.
Just made you better than being from L.A.
So you're going against the people, not the players and the organization.
Oh yeah, isn't that what regional loyalties are pretty much?
Oh right,
it's all stupid stuff.
But it's good stuff, man.
But I mean, the Philly people are rabid like that. I mean, they're more anti-LA.
They're dedicated.
We're anti-Philly.
No, they are.
They're anti-LA.
But wouldn't you want LA to show some deeper commitment to their sports teams? Wouldn't you want to see that?
I think we show deep enough commitment. They rioted. How much more y'all want? They rioted when y'all won.
No. They only are on board when we win.
Yeah, that's the best time. You ain't my damn girlfriend and shit. Goddamn sports team.
Okay,
you want. You only care when we win. Right, you goddamn right. Well, your ass better keep winning.
Okay.
I'm not on board that much when you winning. You better be super winning.
See, so you are biased.
Totally.
Okay, that's
I'm fair weather, uncommitted, conditional, all that. Every bit of it.
Well, I'm not trying to prove to you that I'm not.
Can't wait to find another team.
Well, I tell you this. Do I jump bandwagons? Yes, I have. Ever since our football team left, I've been confused. So I don't know who to have loyalty to. Since we lost the Los Angeles Rams, I don't know where to go.
Hey, that's like people wandering around in them Raider jerseys. They don't even know what to do with them. They just wear them to the mall, you know.
There you go.
Raider, L.A. Raiders. Oh, is that a team? I remember that. L.A. Raiders there. You're an L.A. Raider fan.
Well, on this next subject, we have some fans that may even threaten the Oakland Raiders when they talk about commitment because they have a rule. If you watch that wonderful game last night between the Seattle Seahawks and New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Saints never had a chance. I mean, I think they walked into the room.
It wasn't their night.
They walked in the room, boom, and when boom landed, I love this because I picked this quote out somewhere referencing the Seattle Seahawks. They say, if you think it's loud, then get the out. That basically they're saying, They already hit the Guinness World Book of Records for noise at the decimal level, 137. That was yesterday. The loudest fan recording ever. That's just how big. That they're
I just find that's amazing because I've been to Seattle. They don't seem like that kind of people.
Have you been to the game?
No, I want to, but it's amazing, Vic. Seattle, think about it.
Right.
If you had to name, guess what would be the loudest franchise? Wouldn't you think Philly or something like that?
I thought Kansas City.
I would think something like Kansas City. I would never think here we go again. I've stereotyped.
Right.
I would never think a West Coast team would be the loudest.
Yeah.
At anything, you guys. I have to admit, I'm shocked at it because Seattle's pretty, conservative kind of.
Right, and you think about it. They had a hold on a basketball community until they left and became the Oklahoma Thunder. The Seattle baseball teams hasn't been produced and done well, so they only have the football team. Which, if anybody wants to talk about a success of a man and a coach who brings in what they call the energy and the philosophy and inject it into this team, Pete Carroll. And I'm whether you sit back and we get into the USC things and all that kind of, I said still. He's contagious. He's contagious. He's done something with this team. I watched that game yesterday, and I literally was going, find the guys that are weak. They were hitting. There was no space available for Brees. Whomever he threw the ball to, it was just a matter of you had a half a second, boom, hit you.
Everybody was fired up.
They were done, man. It was.
But let's see. Here's the thing. It sets the tone for the future. But you know what? So far this year, people haven't maintained really that kind of consistency in subsequent games other than, Denver sort of has, but they've managed to win, but it always wasn't with the same flavor. I got to see if they can reproduce that. Seattle looks awesome, but again.
At home.
Let's see them reproduce this effort because we have seen other efforts.
Right. Everybody's agreed that they are the best team, bar none, at home. They are being challenged when they go on the road. So the loss that they have, the one lone loss that they have, is on the road, and so they know that if they get on the road, they're going to suffer from being almost equal to any other team. But the road through the NFC Championship is going through Seattle. And they played San Francisco twice, which is going to lead me to this next question. I was about to say, well, which teams can compete that are equally or better home and away? Well, they played San Francisco and beat them handedly. When I say handedly, I mean San Francisco only scored maybe 3 or 7 points. So this team has its number for San Francisco. Now, that doesn't mean that come playoff time you're going to be in the same game. So between Seattle and the next, or right now, the best defensive team in the league right now, defensive team by stats is Carolina. New Orleans already showed you what they have when they're away against the Seattle. That doesn't mean they're going to be the same in any other place. And San Francisco was the team that we all thought would step up from, last year. Is Seattle the best team that will represent the NFC for the Super Bowl this year, in your opinion?
Yeah.
Okay. No.
And there's a gap now, and what makes it's amazing. It's almost similar to the AFC with Denver.
Right.
There's a noticeable gap between the next level, which is still a good level.
Right.
And on any given day, Carolina, New Orleans, or San Francisco could beat them.
That's right.
On any given day.
That's right. They can.
But we would still be making Seattle the favorite.
Right.
Because they are stronger. Same thing is what's happening in when you look at the AFC, even though the difference between, say, New England and Denver is a little closer, but Vic, there is a notch of a gap between
if they're playing at
Seattle and these group. Even as much as I like Carolina right now, it's just that and I like what Cam is doing.
Right.
It's just that man.
The game that they're going to play, I believe they got to play Carolina. Everybody's waiting for it because they are the two best defensive teams. I watched Carolina and what they did with San Francisco at San Francisco, and they won there. So they win away. They don't suffer from road kill, so to speak. So if they play Seattle in Seattle, that's the game you want to see. So right now, if I say they're the best team, to me, to compete with Seattle would be a Carolina. If Seattle has to go on the road, I'm gonna probably sit back and say, you know what, I'll take Carolina as my lead right now. And San Francisco is supposed to be the team that everybody's going, wake up. The quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, they're just going, once he wakes up, they're back to what they used to be.
That's still acting as a wild card. So Seattle, so the other thing which I got to remind myself is you said how strong they are as a home team, but they get playoff advantage too.
That's right, all the way through. If they win, they stay home. That's why I said
they get playoff advantage.
Everybody's going right now. If they don't lose any more games, the road through to the Super Bowl goes through Seattle.
So that means you got to come there and beat them at their own. Yeah, and I don't know that. You know what? It's because everybody else has flaws. They're not so bad.
Right.
Like I said, I think the most likely. I don't know why I kind of think of New Orleans still a little stronger than Carolina. I'm probably wrong on that.
Right.
But I can't see San Francisco really beating them.
I'll say this: the comparisons between, I always go with the defense for me because, and you got to have some offense. And Carolina has offense as well. Kansas City suffered from, we can be the defense in the AFC all along, but they've now hit that road where they lost 3 straight. They were on the best record in the NFL at one time. They got 3 straight losses so far now.
But Vic, 3 of those straights were to the same two of those 3 were to the same person,
right?
And
team.
for the same, which I think is right now the best. Well, let's look at they're guaranteed 35.
Right.
Damn, if they're not a guaranteed 35 points a game.
Right. So, and I understand that. That's why I said the defense wins, but your offense and the offensive production, to me, I look at Carolina. The difference between Seattle and Carolina, Seattle's secondary, second to none. They're wicked, man. They're just speed. They're big and they hit. Carolina has the best front 7. They push at the front of the line. Sure do. So you're looking at the advantages between one having a better secondary, but they're so closely matched. So who do you take, Russell Wilson or Cam Newton?
No. To me, see, and I go like, I really think it's just a better team on that given day.
Right.
And everybody's so close.
Right.
It's that who's the better team on that given day.
True.
And, of course, the turnovers.
Right. Yeah. Who capitalized?
Because in playoff games, unfortunately, sometimes the people who never fumble.
Right.
In the playoff games.
Well, I want to give prop to a couple of stats here that goes to individuals. One is if there's a MVP for the NFC, is going to be Russell Wilson, the quarterback. He looks so composed, and he actually, as they said yesterday, mimicked his game after Drew Brees because of his stature being small or not tall, so to speak. Got to give him props because he looks so composed, it's ridiculous. Also, people didn't know this. See if you can guess. There's a team out there since 2009 that has the best road record across the board. Who do you think it is? Just, you only get one guess. You can get 2. I'll give you 2. Has the best road record. AFC and NFC.
They had mentioned this before. I knew this because they had mentioned because they have a great road record.
Mm-hmm. The usual suspects are in there, so it won't be any team that.
No, but they mentioned this.
Yeah,
they mentioned this because this had come up recently.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
Kansas City.
Well, you were really, really far off, but that's okay. No, number 1, New Orleans Saints.
Okay, yeah,
best road record. Yeah. Best road record, and Patriots are in there as well. But I was kind of shocked. I wouldn't have picked them. Guess what, you guys? My Noon Sports is over. It's time to go. Time to get that moment in the sun. Tuesday, college football. No, basketball. Yeah, I'll go for it. I'll take it.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Noon Sports. Written, directed, and produced by Victor Allen, a regularly reoccurring segment of the Morning Cover with Mario show. That's right, tune in Mondays through Wednesdays to get the live new episode.
Thank you.